A sea of purple filled the Wildcat Arena with eyes glued to the man at the podium. The students were celebrating their academic signing day with President Clinton as the keynote speaker.
You are being given freedom. By going to college, you get to choose how you're going to spend the rest of your life. It's a huge deal.
And those words especially ring true for Erin Lancaster. Without the help of the El Dorado Promise paying for 100% of her tuition, the teen, raised by a single father, wouldn't be able to afford to be the first in her family to go to a four-year college.
My family's been struggling with the economic problems and stuff, and the job losses and stuff like that, and the fact that I actually get this opportunity is just a blessing.
For every student that received a scholarship at the academic signing day, they signed this letter of intent, and for most of them, it meant the start of a brighter future.
It is definitely going to further my education. I will probably go past a four-year college now.
For the past 5 years, the Murphy Oil Corporation has been providing qualifying students within the El Dorado School District with tuition money to attend any university in the country, something that President Clinton is urging companies from across the country to emulate.
And I'm going to make it my business to try to guilt pedal some more of them and doing it in other places in America.
Academic Signing Day inspired students and parents alike as they listened earnestly to a man from Hope, Arkansas, who rose to become the 42nd President of the United States.
Because it's so rural here, and we don't have a lot of, it doesn't seem like there are a lot of opportunities, but it's so cool to see that he went from such a small town to such a huge opportunity.
It really warms my heart that something so big could happen in a town so small.
The explosion happened around 4 o'clock this morning at El Dorado's chemical company at its nitric acid plant. The plant is located just behind this warehouse.
Kind of woke everybody up. It really did. I mean, it was crazy.
I was stunned, and then when I got to work, everybody got talking about how they was shaking and stuff.
So we came outside and no limbs, and we looked around, and everybody else was coming out too. It's like, okay, what's going on?
It wasn't a bad dream, rather a reality that woke folks up across El Dorado. A loud boom erupted at the El Dorado Chemical Company after a high-pressure reactor failed at the company's nitric acid plant, one of 9 plants at the company. The failure of the reactor caused a sulfur fire and ruined the plant.
The reactor failed catastrophically, and pretty much a shock wave went through the plant and was heard off-site, even and felt off-site.
After this morning's early explosion, perhaps no one was more affected than folks living in this trailer park. The park is located right behind the chemical plant.
Whomp! And the trailer rocked, and I thought, oh no, a limb has fallen out of the tree and hit this trailer.
Nothing broke, but yes, I did have things to fall off the wall.
Although there were employees on site during the explosion, no major injuries were reported. 3 employees were taken to the hospital for high blood pressure and shock. The resulting fires have caused significant damage to the plant. Withrow says the plant that exploded produces nitric acid used for fertilizer, and it could be 6 to 12 months before it opens again. But employees at that plant will still be able to keep their jobs. Brea Douglas, NBC 10 News. Sweltering heat, 90-plus degree temperatures, and no rain makes for a farmer's worst nightmare. Beef producer Rusty Hayes is one of many farmers who is suffering during this dry summer. He's only been able to produce about 25% of the hay he needs compared to the usual 60% around this time of year.
It's horrible. It's pretty bad. About the worst we've had since 83, 82, somewhere in there.
I'm standing in the middle of the hayfield, and farmers like Rusty Hayes say around this time of year, the grass should be coming up to a person's knees. Well, because of the drought that Columbia County has been experiencing, hayfields are not producing enough hay, making that very difficult for farmers. That's because their cattle survives on hay. And when there's no rain, grass doesn't grow. And when grass doesn't grow, hay isn't produced, resulting in Hayes having to buy his own straw, and that's costly.
There's not any hay locally. Everything has to be trucked in here. Transportation cost really make it astronomical.
Meaning consumers like you will eventually see food prices increase. In time, the cost of meat will go up.
Over a long term, it will end up into a less total beef production, which could lead to higher prices in the grocery stores.
And solving that problem is out of our hands. Only an act of nature can prevent it from happening. In the summer, farmers typically need 2.5 to 3 inches of rain a month. Last month, South Arkansas only got 0.67 inches of rain, about 4.5 inches less than normal. Brea Douglas, NBC 10 News.
I was awakened to like a gurgling sound coming from my bathroom. I thought it was coming from my tub at that time. Well, when I rose up to look to see what was going on, sewage was spearing from my commode straight into the air.
It was something that Morris could only hope was a bad dream that he was awaking to. However, it was soon apparent that the trouble with sewage had returned. 6 months after dealing with sewage in his yard, it was now in his home, and much worse than the first time.
The bathroom was completely flooded. In a matter of maybe 5 to 10 seconds, my bathroom floor was completely flooded with sewage. It was coming into my bedrooms.
The El Dorado Water Company blames grease being poured down the drain from residents in the neighborhood as the cause for the sewer line clogging up. And unfortunately, the Morris' home was in harm's way of the sewer line's discharge. It's an incident that El Dorado's mayor weighs in on.
In hindsight, there could have been probably some things handled a little bit more efficiently.
That's why the Morris family is seeking compensation from the water company for the damage done to their home and its contents. The home even tested for E. coli because of the sewage, causing the family to have to spend the past 3 months living in this hotel and pay bills for a home that they say isn't safe to live in. The whole ordeal is taking a toll on the family.
It's pretty much destroyed us mentally and physically and financially due to the fact that this has consumed 90% of my life right now. I can't work.
Even more painful is that the Morris' homeowner's insurance denied the claim because the issue originated from the street and not from their home. The insurance denial has caused the Morris family to direct all of their attention to the water company, who has put 2 offers on the table. One for a little more than $40,000 for repairs and cleanup, or an offer for a little more than $50,000, and included in that offer is roughly $8,000 for cleaning clothes and bedding, and an appraisal of $46,000 to buy their home. The offers the water company calls good faith gestures because the El Dorado Water Commission says that they are legally not responsible for compensating the Morris family for the city's sewage damage to their home. That's because they're protected by what is called tort immunity, a state law that means that the water company cannot be sued for negligence.
Even though you have a newly remodeled 2011 house, we're just going to pay you $46,000 for it because it's in a lower economic part of town. And then you take that $46,000 and go try to find another house, which would be, in the end, we'd be stuck for the next 20 years with a mortgage, which right now we don't have because our house is paid for. It's just unfair all the way around.
At a recent meeting, the Water Commission rejected all 3 of the Morris' counteroffers, which included settling for $58,000 and they'd be responsible for repairs and cleanup, or selling the home for $75,000 and they keep all of the contents, or selling the home and its contents for $90,000.
Water company has qualified solutions. Mr. Morris simply brought his emotional feelings and estimates to the table. He needs to have qualified estimates done.
To get an appraisal, that's about $500. That's more money than we have right now. We're barely making, because we still have to pay the utilities and other bills that are at our home, and we don't even live there.
Ultimately, the Morris family wants to be provided with a home that is comparable to the one they have now, not one they're fearful in living in because of a possible health hazard somewhere down the line. Meanwhile, the Morris family explains how they've managed to get through all of the stress.
Just pray and just continue to believe that the Lord never puts more on you than you can handle.
The Morris family has until tomorrow evening by 5 o'clock to either accept or decline one of the Water Commission's offers. Brea Douglas, NBC 10 News. The town of Huddock has been racially divided ever since January, when their black mayor Tony Cole fired their white police chief Byron Sarter. Since then, the police chief was rehired, but as of last month was fired again, sparking hate crimes throughout the town.
As mayor, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good to see my citizens acting this way. Some folks just hadn't grown up yet.
He's referring to people who are posting signs like this that read, "Welcome the KKK." And the mayor has even received letters like this one that starts with, "To Tony the Ape." Above all, Cole says he's mostly worried for his family.
That's a big concern of mine, is that our families are well and well protected.
I'm standing in front of a sign that, as you can see behind me, has been spray painted. That's because the sign used to say the KKK is here, just one of many hateful acts taking place in the town of Huddick. Other signs include one like this that targets Cole and another Black City Council member. The sign was posted in a nearby alligator pond, hinting where Cole should be.
The acts are cowardly acts, I don't believe this is an outsider. I believe this is someone that's inside.
Another sign that says "Welcome to Sarterville" leaves Cole to believe that supporters of former police chief Byron Sarter are responsible for the hostile acts. Hateful letters to Cole along with this sign indicate that some people didn't agree with Cole firing Sarter after the chief admitted to having medical issues. Issues Cole says gave him a legal right to dismiss Sarter.
It's quite obvious that it all stems from the termination of our former police officer, Byron Sarter.
Cole says despite it all, he's still determined to lead all the residents of Huddick, no matter the color.
I'm here to try to bring this town back from the fall that we have taken for whatever reason.
Mayor Cole says he's turned in all of the hate crime evidence to the FBI in Little Rock to take over the investigation into who's responsible for the crime. As for the police chief, Byron Sarter, we tried reaching out to him, but haven't heard back. Brea Douglas, NBC 10 News.
This is actually a really unique piece because it's completely fenced out.
To the average person, this may look like any piece of steel, but its significance can't be taken for face value. It's a piece of history.
Being able to bring it home, to display it, and to know that those men and those women never be forgotten.
Members of the El Dorado Police and Fire Departments drove to New York to pick up this 700-pound piece of steel. This 6.5-foot beam is a piece of what remains from Tower 1 of the World Trade Center.
The journey was long, I will say that, but the journey was exhilarating in the fact that we wanted to make a difference for future generations.
Once the team crossed into Arkansas with the historic piece in the back of the truck, the visions of a 9/11 memorial in El Dorado became even more real.
We want to be able to use this not just as another piece of steel or a monument, but to understand the education of it as well and how it changed our entire scope of existence in America.
Folks in El Dorado are welcoming this piece with open arms, embracing the education it will bring in its final resting place. In El Dorado, Brea Douglas, NBC 10 News. At El Dorado High School, there's a tradition of athletic success, and in more recent years, it's the football team that has been dominating in the state. This year, the Wildcats are aiming to fill this spot in the school's trophy case with their third straight championship trophy.
It's just something to look forward to, so we can say we did.
Head coach Scott Reed has taken his team to the state game for the past 4 out of 5 seasons. The winning track record means his team expects nothing but a ring at the end of the season.
We're greedy now. Every one of them special, and we want another one.
So just how have the Wildcats maintained their winning streak? The players say it all starts in the offseason.
All the hard work we put in the summer, just staying in the weight room, staying on the field, doing drills, every day running bleachers, even out of practice, coming together at the stadium, running track.
Our kids generally compete till it's over, and I think that's probably a trademark of us.
The only loss El Dorado has suffered all season long was here at home against Lake Hamilton, and ironically, Lake Hamilton is who they'll take on this Friday for the state championship.
It's gonna make us live. We about to go in here and just all the way out. We about to be all the way out there.
Get them back. Honestly, it was close the first time, and I know after that game our kids really were hoping to get another shot at them.
And a chance of redemption against Lake Hamilton will hopefully add another piece of hardware next to last year's title. Brea Douglas, NBC 10 News.